Man, this is the best presidency ever. There's a bunch of debt. Let's just get into it. Coach Colin news, Coach Colin show, sold not for sale. Here you go. Democrats denied entry. First off, they come like as if they're just rushing the Capitol or something like that, and they get denied entry into setting up a meeting with the head of the Department of Education. Trump has announced that he wants this department to be gone. He wants it in the hands of the states. He's made it very clear. And they thought, we're members of Congress. We get treated differently than everybody else. We can do what we want. We're getting inside this building. And guess what? Somebody said, no, you're not. And they just go into a full meltdown, just berating this security guard for doing his job.
Something that's happening live to you right now. There are about a dozen lawmakers, Democrats, attempting to get a meeting with the acting education secretary. This comes as President Trump has said the Department of Education might be something where Secretary McMahon, if she's confirmed, would get herself out of a job. And also you had the former Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, writing yesterday in the Free Press. She thinks the Department of Education should be eliminated. This is one of those things where they're probably not going to get access to this building, but the Democrats are flummoxed as to how to deal with this, Shannon.
Yeah, Dana, I think you're right. We see them showing up and protesting outside of a number of buildings, or actually, as we saw on Capitol Hill yesterday, I think it was, actually forcing themselves and their way into a meeting that they wanted to be a part of. And I think right now they feel like chaos is the strategy. I think that was the line that was in Playbook maybe this morning, talking about the fact that they know that they're going to be overwhelmed with all of these actions, all the things that they, are trying to get a hold of. They're showing up. We've seen protests. We've seen we're at war. We've seen them say, take this to the streets. It does feel like the Democrats are kind of back on their heels trying to get control of the messaging, much less the substance of all these different things that are happening, Dana.
And I think the one congressman I can make out there is taking the photograph right now. I believe that's Maxwell Frost, and they're talking to a security guard. So let me just turn it back over to Sandra to ask you another question as we watch these Democrats who, I guess it's performative art in a way, Sandra, to try to make a point.
Absolutely. You notice the camera's up, and you're noting Maxwell Frost, the congressman from Florida, in the picture there. Apparently, this is security.
Look how fed up this dude looks. He's only been out there for 40 seconds. He's like, oh, is it going to be a few hours of this? Is it really going to be a few hours of this? This is incredible. Shout out to him, man. If anybody finds this guy's name, let me know, because I want to interview.
Guard. But Shannon, obviously this is just further signs of what is to come. I spoke with Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, yesterday and asked her about the president's intentions with the Department of Education. They're not detailing exactly where they're going with this, but there has been a lot of talk about dismantling it altogether or reworking it, but we just don't know. And that uncertainty leads to a lot of this.
It does. And conservatives have been talking about this for a long time, that they feel like states are much better equipped to handle the education system. It's closer to the parents. It's closer to the people that are directly involved, the students as well. So it's one of those agencies that has been targeted by conservatives to say this doesn't need to be this federal behemoth that has all of this money, when states and localities and local school districts know much more about what their students need. They are much more accountable to the parents who show up at these meetings, which we've seen the last few years, to demand answers and accountability for their kids. So not surprising that there would be this conversation about taking this away from the federal level and sending it back to local and state. But I think ideally for conservatives, they want it as local as possible. And that means a threat to the federal agency that now exists.
Shannon, let's try to see if we can hear anything going on.
On your own behalf, were you told to come out here and block members of Congress?
Do they know that we are here? Max, ask the question again. That's important.
Were you told, are you making this decision to stand in front of this door on your own behalf, on behalf of the Department of Education, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress from going to the desk?
I'm doing my job.
So everybody's
what is that?
We're doing our jobs.
We're trying to save you.
It's a non-responsive.
Show them your ID. Were you told to stand here, or did you decide to stand here and block members of Congress from entering the Department of Education?
To federal buildings.
He's a security
By members of Congress.
We're allowed in there.
So a private security contractor
Do you know who members of Congress are?
members of
Sure,
Congress.
we're all members of Congress.
Maybe he doesn't understand. Do you
A private
understand who
security
members of Congress
contractor
are?
is making the decision to block.
That's Maxine Waters. You could hear. Oh, yeah, but perhaps you don't understand. Members of Congress here. Members of Congress here. I'm telling you guys. I say it all the time. That's your competition. You can be members of Congress. It is possible. Trust me. AOC did it. Why can't you? I'm telling you, go for it. Please. I hope one person goes for it because this is your competition. People that when they don't get what they want, they just rush the door to whatever place and they just want to request a meeting. That's why there's 50 people outside because they want to request one meeting. Probably could have been handled different. Probably could have been handled by an email. Just
Members of Congress from a public access entrance.
I don't think he knows.
You have the authority
what
as a
Congress
private
is or
security
what we do.
contractor to block members of Congress. That has been knighted and granted to you.
You have to at least let us go to the desk.
Yeah.
Sending the guns out.
Oh my, look at that.
Who told you to
sending the
do
guns
this? Open the door.
So do you understand who members of Congress are? I got it, yeah.
And you don't
who
care.
are we then?
You don't care.
We have a job to do.
We're not dangerous people. We're not, I don't know, security. There are no thieves and thugs out here. We're members of Congress. We're parents, we're teachers.
Each of us.
There's our ID, right there.
We were elected to do this.
This is our
I've
job.
never seen one of
This is
those.
our job. We're doing our job.
Oh wow.
You're securing this building against who?
Members of Congress.
Who are you
The people.
protecting in
Against
this?
members of the people's
So
house
this is the
represent the
beginning of
people.
full transparency of this administration.
That's right.
The administration that talked about they're going to open the doors to all of these things and show the American public what is going on. They won't
Transparency.
even open the door to this building
That's
to
right. Go to the
members of
visitor
Congress.
desk.
Or
We are
anyone.
not posing any threat here.
Not
No, we are not
whatsoever.
dangerous people. We have not done
won't even
anything.
let us
We're
talk to the
trying to
Department of
request a
Education.
meeting, and they won't. They have a private security contractor who on his own is making decisions on behalf of the Department of Education.
So, Congressman Hayes, what you're saying is they're not, they allow billionaires and his minions to come in
I don't
to
know
this
who
building.
he is. I don't know who he is, but I know who I
they
am.
allow-
And I'm a member of Congress with oversight responsibilities trying to request a meeting, and a private security contractor is not allowing me to enter the building.
They allow billionaires to go into this building, but not the people's representatives. They allow billionaires and their cronies to go in, but not, there's a lack of transparency here. The members of Congress, the people's representatives are not allowed in. This is not transparency.
They're locking our kids out. Well, not only are they not letting us in, now they've called the Department of Homeland Security. We are members of Congress here to talk with the Department of Education, and they're treating us.
Kids deserve to have us
Yes,
go in and fight for
absolutely.
them.
This is appalling.
Children of this country deserve that battle.
This is a public institution.
You see, that is the game they always play. We're members of Congress. We're parents. We're teachers. The children. We're doing it for the children. Let us in for the children. Oh, the children won't work? This is how these guys play this game. They will try every single thing, and they will turn to the cameras, which they brought with them, if you notice that. Listen, I know camera people are quick. Fox and I know they're quick, but they can't be that quick. They came with the camera people, which means that they wanted this type of stunt. They planned for this type of stunt. And now they're turning to the camera and saying, oh, for the children. It's very interesting. And I don't know if she makes the point here, but they start talking about, at a certain point, they start talking about the education system, and they start talking about the failures that have happened in terms of reading levels for different grades and age groups and how poor it's all been and the math skills and everything like that. And you start to wonder, where were they when all that was happening? And the only time that they spring up is when the purse strings get threatened. When all of a sudden this department's going to be gone and all of that money is now going to get dispersed to the states as it should. And now the states are going to be able to make some proper decisions instead of all of them. Now all of a sudden it's a big deal. It's very, 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 it's telling, man. I'm loving all the light that's getting shed. This is incredible.
This is not Russia.
Let the camera see him. Let the camera see him. This man here.
Contractor.
We are members of Congress.
Come in.
They're blocking
I want you to
us.
see this man here, who is a federal employee. He told us.
He's not.
Are you a federal employee?
No.
Huh?
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him. We raise money to make sure that we have a Department of Education. Everybody that's hired at the Department of Education are here because we pay for them to be here. He's standing here today, blocking the door, and he can't give us a good reason why he's blocking this door.
Make sure they see right here, all access entrance.
Well, and I think it should be clear to parents in the United States, if you want to advocate on behalf of your children, you are not allowed to come into this building where you pay taxes. Parents who have children who are disabled, access is being blocked. You voted for members of Congress to advocate on behalf of your children with disabilities, for young women who have been victims of sexual assault.
What? You see what I mean? I'm telling you, this is the game they play. They will bring up every single group that they can possibly gather for their effort. Now she's talking about, and listen, all the sympathy in the world if that's what's happened to you as a female, 100%. But that's not what the Department of Education is about. Why is she bringing that up? Why is that in the conversation? Because she's trying to make this person who's blocking the door seem as evil as she possibly can, then attach this person to Trump and Elon Musk so you can demonize them on all levels.
In our classrooms, on our school grounds, members of OCR are fighting for your children. We are not allowed in the building to talk to them. We are not allowed to advocate on behalf of America's children. America, we have a problem.
Now, everybody stand back.
All right, so this is the Department of Education. You've got members of Congress from the Democratic side of the aisle trying to get in the building. You have a security guard who never wanted to be on television today, basically doing his job and denying them access. It is interesting that Fox News is the only one covering this live, and apparently this is what the Democrats want, right? They want to be on television. That's Maxine Waters complaining, Sandra, that they can't get in the building. And then you had other members of Congress saying that if you want to get in and fight for your children, you're not allowed. But we had some news this week that would make it sound like that's a little bit too late, guys.
Our nation's report card was shocking. The report card showed 7 out of 10 fourth graders are not proficient readers, Dana, a number that has worsened since the last report card in 2022. Worse, the numbers haven't improved in 3 decades. We're seeing the same thing for the middle schoolers at the 8th grade level. Less than a third of American students enter high school with the reading and comprehension skills that they need at that point in their lives. I mean, you talk about not getting access to the building, you're hearing from these folks, to go advocate for the kids. Well, what have they done lately, right? That report card has not improved. In fact, our nation's report card has worsened. There's a huge problem at the public school, with the public school system in this country, and it has been failing our nation's children.
Shannon Brain, let's bring you in as Maxine Waters continues to berate the security.
Look at these guys. Even if you just put it on mute. Look at this. I'm a member of Congress. I run this country. My money's in jeopardy. This man's standing here. What do you expect? Do you expect him to let you in and give you a guided tour? Who would do that? Who would just let people in and give them a guided tour of the building that they want to go inside of? People don't do that. Can't expect that. Now, again, this all stems from what President Trump said in regards to who he wants elected. I believe Linda McMahon, and that is McMahon of the McMahon family from WWE. that is Vince McMahon's wife that he wants to get into this position. And he said here he wants her out of a job.
Why nominate Linda McMahon to be the Education Department Secretary if you're going to get rid of the Education Department?
Because I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. Education Department. So we're ranked number 40 out of 40 schools, right? We're ranked number 1 in cost per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world, and we're ranked at the bottom of the list. We're ranked very badly. And what I want to do is let the states run schools. I believe strongly in school choice. But in addition to that, I want the states to run schools. And I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
So he's become very, very clear on that. That's exactly what he wants. That's what he wants to see. He wants this to be done. He wants it to be completely done by now. And that was what he said before this whole meltdown. This is what he was talking about as he was finalizing the plans to end the Department of Education. And this is just before the meltdown. So this is him finalizing the plans here, or at least a little piece about that.
The federal government. The president and Elon Musk now considering a plan to eliminate the Department of Education after controversial moves at the state and Treasury departments that are drawing lawsuits and resistance from Democrats. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. And President Donald Trump's pick for Education Secretary has not even had a confirmation hearing yet here on Capitol Hill. But this morning, we are learning that plans are in the works to dismantle the Department of Education. This morning, President Trump finalizing plans to gut the Department of Education. Sources tell ABC News the president now weighing an executive order to direct his education secretary to submit a proposal to dismantle the agency and call on Congress to eliminate it, fulfilling a campaign promise.
Your state is going to control your children's education. We're moving it out of Washington.
Education is primarily a state and local responsibility already, but the Department of Education does serve more than 50 million students at about 130,000 public and private schools, providing billions to aid students with disabilities and also to schools in low-income communities. President Trump has put billionaire Elon Musk in charge of shrinking the federal government, and the Education Department is a top target. Sources tell ABC News a handful of representatives from Musk's Department of Government Efficiency were spotted inside the Education Department on Monday. Musk is already serving as a special government employee. His team already has access to the vast federal payment system and now has also seized control of USAID, the agency that provides U.S. humanitarian assistance around the world, locking out employees, essentially shutting it down. Members of Musk's team showed up at those offices, demanding access.
The Doge was in the building. We took down our pride flags. I took out any books I felt would be incriminating. No one was talking.
This morning, workers warned once again.
She took down books that would be incriminating? Did you hear that? I didn't even let this clip. I'm seeing this clip along with you guys. What did she just say?
The Doge was in the building. We took down our pride flags. I took out any books I felt would be incriminating. No one was talking.
This morning, workers warned.
So what books were these? They're trying to hide their political ideology or their woke ideology, whatever you want to call it. They're literally hiding it. Books that could be incriminating. Taking down the pride flags, trying to be like, no, we're just a neutral government entity here. You know, nothing to see here. And in reality, that's not the case. I can't believe this woman just said that on camera. You know, this is getting into the USAID part of things, which I have another video planned for that. But that right there, wow, absolutely wow. You know, there's not much else to show here other than, you know, they're just getting at him from different angles, you know, because there's a bunch of people with cameras here. Again, shout out to this guy. You know, he is just doing his job. I'm sure he didn't wake up thinking that this was going to happen. You know, it's pretty sad.
Max, ask the question again. That's important.
Were you told, are you making this decision to stand in front of this door on your own behalf, on behalf of the Department of Education, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress from going to the desk?
I'm doing my job.
So everybody's freelancing.
What is that?
We're doing our jobs.
We're trying to save your job.
We're trying to save your job. Let me in here. And like, you can just see, they just have cameras on this guy. This guy does not deserve this type of treatment.
Excuse me?
Are you prepared to stand here all night if we decide to stay?
I guess, yeah.
All right, well, you just stay right there then. You just stay and stand.
Why aren't you letting us go to that desk like we were able to do last year?
No, he's not a U.S. employee.
This is a public institution.
Did Elon Musk hire you? Who do you work for?
Did Elon Musk hire you? Maxine's like, you can stay right there then, because we're going to be here all night. Maxine got like 20 minutes in her. Are you kidding me? It's February. They're in Get out of here, Maxine. You got 20 minutes max left in you. You're not staying out there all night. And this guy could care less. He's like, I don't know, time and a half, I guess. I guess time and a half. I guess it'll be a bunch of hours. Hopefully I get double time for this kind of thing. I don't know. Just whatever. Just standing here. It's not that bad. Whatever. And, the thing that they're leaving out that you heard in the beginning of this video is that the current head of the Department of Education actually sides with Trump and thinks that this should be dismantled. So when you hear mainstream news organizations saying that he already has this underway, Trump is already taking steps towards it. He's not doing it on his own. He's not reaching into that department and saying, this is what I want done and moving things around via Elon Musk and the Doge team. The actual head is helping him do this because they agree. So they want to put this in action. I'm talking about the current head of the DOE. They want to put this in action and then hand it off to Linda McMahon and then have her do the rest until there's no department left. That's exactly what they're doing, So it's very interesting the way that they try to spin things.
Come on, hold your face up. Look at him. Let him see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
Giving you the ID. I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
No? Will someone else ask him for the ID? Will you ask him for it? He won't let me see it again. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. They didn't see it. I looked them in the eye. Come on.
Oh my God. Can I, what? What'd you say? Huh? Can I see the ID again? No. This guy is so fed up. He's like, I cannot believe this is happening right now. He's like, this is crazy. Maxine Waters, the same lady who said we have to become more like China in order to compete with China. Now she's not getting led into a building and she's all, oh, what's going on here? Not saying that this guy's acting like that, but it's funny that you want to be more like this authoritarian country, communist country, and now you're not led inside the Department of Education because it's getting taken over and shut down, and now you have a big problem with it. I don't know. Just, she's a silly lady, man. They're all very silly. This is a big publicity stunt, but it's one of those things, like when Trump first ran for office, you were seeing, how do I describe it? It was like the government was like a wound, right? And Trump was like alcohol on the wound. And what happens the second that you put alcohol on something, right? It hurts and it reacts. And it's like, that's what you saw in the government, everybody reacting. And that's what you're seeing right now as he's about to shut this whole thing down. You're seeing the alcohol getting poured on. It's like, because this Department of Education is an open wound. It's just spilling out money. We need to heal this thing. We need to get it gauzed up. We need to make sure it heals. And this is the reaction. This is the reaction right now. They're mad about it. They're angry. They want it to stop. And the key thing, when I was playing one of these clips of Maxine, she was like, we raise money for this department. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you raise a whole lot of money for that department. But it's all getting cut off. And again, this does not stop the education, right? Again, this is very, very odd, the way that they're acting. When USAID gets frozen, most of it, the critical stuff is not frozen. But when most of it gets frozen and people are getting put on leave, it's because there was an audit. They were protesting in front of the building because Elon's just like, I just want to audit the place. I just want to see where the money's going. They're like, no. And they go nuts. Now it's another thing where you would think that they're about to shut down education nationwide, but that's not what's happening. Trump just wants it to be in the hands of every single state. Education is still going to flow through the whole nation. It's not going to stop. That's not what's happening. Everybody's going to get to go to grade 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Everybody's going to be fine, but they're acting like as if, oh, what's happening is, this is such an injustice. Why? In my opinion, both of those things that I just brought up, the two connecting factors, are the money. That's what I think. Right now it's in Washington. It's going to be in the hands of the states. There's certain people in Washington, like these members of Congress, which I'll just say allegedly, I can't say for sure, but there's a lot. All I'll say is this: there's a lot of money involved, and that money's going to leave Washington and it's going to be distributed throughout the states. Maybe that's the issue. You know, USAID, all of a sudden, they don't just have this infinite bank account to just do whatever they want with. They're saying it's for the people. In both instances, it's all for the people. It's all for the children. It's all for the sick. It's all for the minorities. It's all for everybody. But in reality, it seems like it's just about the money. Anyways, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, helps the channel tremendously, and I am out.